All right, welcome everyone to the PHLpreK application session, info session for renewal and pre-qualified providers. I'm Carrie Lee, the PHLpreK contracts manager with PHMC, and helping me lead you through this presentation today is Theo Margulies. He's one of our contract coordinators. You also hear from representatives from the Office of Children and Families and the Spark Quality Support Center. First, we wanted to let you know that Spanish subtitles are available, so you can access them by clicking on the Show Captions icon on your Zoom toolbar. Looks like that little, so the little black strip there, it just says Show Captions. If you'd like to view the subtitles in any other language besides Spanish, you can view the recording on our YouTube channel. We'll send that out after this session. We'll send the link as well as all the materials out after this session. You can also turn off the subtitles by using that same icon on the bottom. So in this session, we'll share information about the applications for the 2024 to 2025 program year. Please mute your audio so we can minimize feedback. If you have any questions, please enter them in the chat box. There'll be lots of time along the way to get to those questions. All application materials can be found on the website and they're now live. So I'll put that in the chat in just a minute. All the information that we review today is going to be in the application. We'll also post slides and the recording again, we'll put on the website and then also send those out in the weekly provider update. For our agenda today, we'll review the application process and briefly discuss performance expectations. We'll talk through how to complete the application, provide tips, and demo the online application, which is very similar to last year if you did the application as a renewal provider. We'll take questions and then have some time at the end to review the RFQ for new providers for those who want to apply for a new location. And now I will pass it off to Brittany from the Office of Children and Families.
Thank you, Carrie. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am Brittany Edie from the Office of Children and Families, and I'm the Provider Engagement Coordinator here with PHLpreK. A little bit of our history. PHLpreK launched in January 2017 and is funded by the Philadelphia Beverage Tax. We started with 2,000 students at 89 locations across the city. For this fiscal year, we are at 5,250 seats at over 220 locations. We offer 5.5 hours of daily education for 180 days for 10 months. And we have total serviced 13,000 plus students and families since the inception. PHLpreK's mission is to increase access to quality early learning by offering free pre-kindergarten programs to children regardless of their family's income. Our commitments are as follows: increasing center quality and providing instructional resources, offering health resources and conducting developmental screenings, supporting staff growth and development, and promoting kindergarten registration and transition activities. We've added 950 new seats this year at 51 new locations for 237 new seats in priority neighborhoods. We are seeking applications for qualified providers, seeking seats in anticipation for expansion of 2023 and 2024. Our commitment is to high quality seats, and we have increased to 94% of those seats being star 3 and 4 rated providers. Again, we are anticipating seat expansion for FY 24 and 25. Those numbers are to be determined. Children and families in PHLpreK. 80% of children identify as non-white. 70% are below 200% of the poverty level. 15% speak a language other than English at home. We operate in 43 zip codes in 62 locations with approximately 1,411 seats in priority neighborhoods. This is our administration team. PHMC is our administrative intermediary. Spark is our quality support center, and we are partnered with the Philadelphia School District. And I'm
Thanks,
passing it back
Brittany.
over. You're welcome. Thanks.
Thanks, Brittany. So a little bit more about PHMC as the administrative intermediary. So some of the roles we play include the administration of a contract with providers. We're responsible for issuing notice of awards, contracting directly with providers, and allocating slots. We're responsible for enrollment oversight, meaning that we approve enrollments, we verify enrollments, as well as monitor those enrollment targets. We disperse the flow of funds to PHLpreK providers and oversee monthly invoicing. We're responsible for data collection, management, and analysis, meaning that we collect the data from the system, we review it, and then we also look at the trends to determine supports and how we should move forward in supporting PHLpreK providers. We support all fiscal reporting requirements and help providers meet contract deliverables. And the intermediate has strategic partnership responsibilities, meaning that we're very intentional about collaborating with partners within the PHLpreK system, such as OCF and Spark, as well as organizations outside of the PHLpreK system to ensure that we're providing the best supports we can. And finally, program reporting. We're responsible for the collection of program and child level data and reporting out on outcomes of the PHLpreK system. And now you'll hear from Dina Short about the Spark Quality Support Center.
Thank you, Carrie. Good afternoon. My name is Dina Short, Deputy Director of Coaching and Quality Supports. So there's many ways to engage in Spark's coaching and quality support services. One way is through PD, which is developed by our specialists and content experts. On our website, you will find a training request form where you request an in-person training at any time. Our coaching is offered in person, virtual, individual, group coaching. Our coaching supports are tailored to your needs. You may have a conversation with one of your teachers. She may indicate that she may need support. You can give us a call and reach out to us. And then we also send out our intake survey, which is another way to identify any supports that you may need. Two things that we did this year, we offered a curriculum unboxing where coaches went in, unboxed the curriculum and demonstrated the different parts of the curriculum. And we also offered classroom arrangement supports this year. Those two new things that we did this year were very successful. Also on our website, you will find our Knowledge Center, which is a variety of resources and articles. You can also reach our help desk if you do not know who your coach is. On our website is information, our help desk number. You can reach out to Nicole, find out who your coach is and making a connection. And also on our website is our events calendar, where it lists all of the many trainings that we offer. So please, our contact information is at the bottom of the slide. Thank you, and we look forward to servicing your program. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dina. Okay, so now we'll provide an overview of the application process. So application materials can be found on the PHLpreK website. I'll drop that in the chat again right there. You can scroll to how to apply, and the links are under the review application materials, similar to that little picture on the right-hand side of the screen. When you open those materials, there is a link on the last page. You can get to the renewal application questions. So if you want to review them beforehand, before going into the platform, that's how you can see all the questions in one document. Here is the timeline for the application process. Be sure to mark your calendars for these dates and check the website for any updates. So the application is live on the website right now. Application info sessions are today through the end of the week. The next renewal provider session is going to be on Thursday morning. The deadline to submit any application questions and requests for language supports is next Tuesday, December 12th. We'll answer all those questions that we received across all of the application information sessions, plus any that we received through the PHLpreK inbox. We'll answer them and then post them on the PHLpreK website along with a translated Spanish version. The deadline to submit all applications is January 22nd at noon. You need to submit in the web platform, which is the same one we used last year, and you will not be able to submit after the deadline. These dates are estimates only, and PHMC reserves the right to change this schedule. Notice of any changes in dates will be posted to the PHLpreK website, so please be sure to check there. Dates, times listed may be changed without notice to prospective applicants, and PHMC also reserves the right to request further information and conduct site visits or interviews after applications have been submitted. Okay, so let's start the application overview. So PHMC is releasing the application on behalf of the city to fund quality pre-K slots starting in September 2024. The city's vision is to provide over 5,500 seats by the next program year and develop an integrated system of accessible early learning services for Philadelphia families. As most of you are well aware, if awarded a PHLpreK contract, PHLpreK provides a minimum of 5.5 hours of instructional time, 180 days of service from September 2024 to June 2025, reimbursement at $10,000 per approved slot, and monthly payments at about $1,000 per approved child. Providers are encouraged to combine PHLpreK funding with CCW funding and may not charge additional fees for PHLpreK funded hours. PHLpreK is open to all 3- and 4-year-olds who live in Philadelphia and who are not already receiving preschool services. So the goal of PHLpreK is really to create new preschool seats. The children must be 3 on or before September 1st, 2024, and be younger than kindergarten entry age. The focus of PHLpreK is to encourage enrollment of children not already receiving preschool services in areas with high poverty, a large presence of children at risk for poor health and educational outcomes, and a shortage of early learning opportunities. We also encourage enrollment for children with families from families experiencing homelessness, English language learners, and those with special needs. Providers are eligible to apply under the renewal and pre-qualified application if they meet these criteria. So first, if there are locations contracted in this program year, that's the 2023 to 2024 program year, providers that have been issued a corrective action plan or notice of default in this program year may still complete the renewal application. However, the status of remediation will be taken into consideration when determining seat allocations. This application is also for provider locations that were pre-qualified or waitlisted to receive seats in the 2023 to 2024 program year. You will also need to participate in a pre-qualified orientation session with the Spark Quality Support Center prior to the application deadline on January 22nd. And if you are a pre-qualified provider, you should have received a communications today from PHLpreK letting you know when those orientation sessions are. Providers who'd like to move PHLpreK operations from the currently funded location to a new location, or if you wish to apply for a location that's not funded in the 2023 to 2024 contract year, you'll be required to complete an application under the RFQ for new provider locations. Other eligibility criteria, so providers need to be licensed and info compliance with Department of Human Services or Pennsylvania Department of Education. Providers should also be quality community-based childcare programs that operate in Philadelphia, including centers, group, and family childcare, as well as school district and Head Start sites. Providers with a provisional license at the point of the submission will be reviewed. However, priority will be given to sites with a full license and in good standing. If a site is selected for funding, any negative sanctions must be resolved prior to contracting and opening of classrooms. And contracts will not be issued to providers with a negative sanction. Providers not licensed through DHS or PDE, but licensed through an Octal alternative pathway to STARS may apply, but they must have a STARS designation. And all STAR levels are eligible to apply. For STAR 1 and 2 programs, you must demonstrate progress towards STAR 3 or 4 and have a plan for requesting designation. And this will be verified by the ELRC. Providers must also demonstrate progress towards ensuring PHLpreK staff have applied to attain career pathway placement in the PD registry, which is shown in the staff qualifications report. Also demonstrate PHLpreK contract compliance as applicable if you're in the system this year, and demonstrate city vendor compliance based on the most recent OCF report. Now, this application is for a competitive bid for grants that will be awarded based on the criteria described in this presentation. The applicant acknowledges that this application is strictly for the purpose of gaining knowledge of services and expertise available and is not a commitment or promise of service award from the intermediary. If the intermediary chooses to award a contract, it will be awarded to the applicant whose proposal is the most advantageous to the city and in the city's best interest. So now I will throw it over to Theo, who will take you through the rest of this section.
Hello. Yeah, as Carrie said earlier, my name is Theo, and I'm one of the PHLpreK contracts coordinators. I apologize that you can't see me. My camera is not currently working. I will be going over funding priorities and selection criteria, and then later I will also be going over the demo for the application. So for funding priorities, they will be prioritized by 3 tiers. These factors were selected in part due to recommendations from the 2022 report from Pillars Research and Strategy that identified strategies for how PHLpreK could expand to best fit the needs of Philadelphia's children and families. So tier 1 is provider locations contracted with PHLpreK for the current program year. These locations may request the same allocation as FY24 or a change in allocation. Seats may be reduced or not renewed with current providers in cases where providers are not in good standing or have compliance issues at the time of application. Examples of these would include vacancies of 10 or more PHLpreK seats, corrective action plans, or notices of default. If awarded seats and the program reaches full enrollment with a waitlist, a program may request additional seats to be considered if seats need to be reallocated during the year. The next priority under tier 1 is provider locations that were pre-qualified or waitlisted for the current program year and that participate in a pre-qualified provider orientation session with the Spark Quality Support Center before the PHLpreK application deadline. Pre-qualified locations in priority zip codes that have achieved a minimum of a star 3 will be prioritized. So tier 2 is based on the priority zip codes and star level, and we will be talking more about priority zip codes in the next slide. Prioritize star 3 or star 4 providers in those priority zip codes, and then star 1 or star 2 providers in priority zip codes. And tier 3 is other locations that don't meet tier 1 or tier 2, and will include the following in no particular order: family childcare providers, providers serving dual language learners, providers with multiple public preschool funding streams, providers that serve infant and toddlers. And this group is just listed to promote continuity of care. PHLpreK funds can't be used for infants and toddlers. And then also in tier 3 is providers offering non-traditional hours. And this is also listed just to promote continuity of care, as PHLpreK funds cannot be used outside of PHLpreK hours. And then also star level will be included in those tier 3. Okay, priority zip codes. So in an effort to ensure PHLpreK seats are distributed equitably, OCF Performance Management and Technology Division analyzed existing data to assess needs at the zip code level. So please note that OCF reserves the right to consider other factors in conjunction with the priority zip code data in determining whether a location would be considered for future PHLpreK funding. So there are 16 priority zip codes this year, and the analysis looked at population, poverty, early childhood risk factors, and public funded high quality seats. The analysis identified 16 priority zip codes that satisfied at least one of the following factors: a low number of publicly funded preschool seats per child, a high number of children with 2 or more risk factors without high quality public pre-K seats, and a high number of children in poverty without high quality public pre-K seats. This information is included in the application document for reference, and it will be in the slides we'll send out on our weekly update. Now, selection criteria. So applicants will be evaluated on the following criteria: ability or capacity to meet PHLpreK requirements, prior experience of applicant and staff, ability to meet the needs of target zip codes and vulnerable populations, demonstrated efficiency in business practices, and the benefit of promoting long-term competitive development and allocation of experience to new or small businesses, including those owned by minorities, people with disabilities, or women. Continuing selection criteria, the ability to utilize funds appropriately and in support of the PHLpreK program goals, complying with all city vendor requirements, valid Pennsylvania DHS or PDE license in good standing or license through alternative pathways with STARS designation, ability to show that the requirements of the program are well understood. For example, a staffing plan demonstrates the ability to accommodate the requested seats with staff that meet the PHLpreK education requirements. And lastly, for selection criteria would be have the ability of vacant seats not occupied by a child currently funded through another source. PHLpreK funding is intended to create new preschool slots, and have the license capacity for the number of seats being requested, and the slot request does not exceed 75% of license capacity. If you have any questions about the application, we are accepting questions until December 12th. Please send those questions to phlpreK@phmc.org. Due to the city procurement processes, we will not be able to answer individual questions after that date. And as Carrie mentioned before, all of those questions will be posted to the PHLpreK website and will be translated into Spanish. So this is the first time we're going to take a break. If anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the chat.
Thanks, Theo. And so we did have just a couple questions. Is the application similar to last year? Yes, it should be. It is very similar to last year. And then a question about getting to the web platform. So if you go to the PHLpreK website and you scroll down to how to apply, then you go to submit to an application submit an application in the web platform is right under that. Then you can click on the links to choose the English or Spanish version under the Renewal pre-qualified application.
And just to clarify, those links are in the table underneath the bullet that says submit an application in web platform.
Let's see. Okay, I don't see any other questions right now, but please put them in the chat box and we'll have time as well later on to stop for questions. Okay, So let's move into the next section. So let's talk briefly about the PHLpreK performance expectations. So please make sure you review the FY25 service and performance expectations. They're linked here in the materials. We can drop that link in the chat right now. And then also they are in the application materials as well. These should be very familiar to you all in the program this year. There are not any major changes. And as you all know, that providers are going to be expected to provide certain services and will be monitored on their performance if awarded a PHLpreK contract. So again, these remain largely the same and no major changes as of right now. Around performance expectations, PHLpreK providers need to maintain safe and legal operations, follow CDC guidelines following the end of the COVID-19 emergency, provide overall program quality, maintain good standing in stars, conduct marketing and recruitment to maintain 100% enrollment, deliver quality, developmentally appropriate practices using required curriculum and tools or submitting for waivers if needed. Ensure adequate program dosage, that's those 5.5 hours for 180 days, and recruiting and retaining qualified staff that meet PHLpreK requirements. Next is the comprehensive service expectations. That's around supporting family needs for early learning and childcare services, following appropriate health and nutrition standards, partnering with families and caregivers to support children's learning and development, and supporting kindergarten transition. Reporting expectations are around keeping accurate records and entering data into certain databases, like the PD Registry, Childware, and Teaching Strategies Gold Online. Engaging in the project and continuous improvement of the system. So this means things like participating in the PHLpreK external evaluation, and also complying with monitoring requests. Around fiscal expectations, make sure you're utilizing funds appropriately, completing various reporting requirements, including expense reporting, external reviews if applicable, and monthly invoicing. And then finally, general provisions. Providers should maintain status as a quality business partner and comply with policies and requirements of the intermediary and city, state, and federal government. Okay, we'll now go over how to complete the application, and we'll demo the online platform, which again was used last year in the application cycle. So all applicants must submit in the web-based platform. The link again can be found on the PHLpreK website. So you can click the link to access the online application for renewal and pre-qualified providers. Similar to last year, you can, if you're applying in the renewal application, you can add multiple sites to one application if they're under the same legal entity, and all those sites meet the requirements, the eligibility requirements of renewal and pre-qualified providers. However, if you're applying for a new location, you cannot add that to the renewal application. You'll need to complete the RFQ for new provider application if you're putting in for a new location. The application is available in English and Spanish. Applicants who are not proficient in English may request a coach and interpreter to help them complete the application. Appointments are required, and you should email phlprek@phmc.org to request these supports if needed by December 12th, 2023. Here are some tips on completing the application. So please give yourself plenty of time. Do not wait until the last minute. Read all information before completing the application. Please make sure to read and reread your submission for accuracy, spelling, and completeness. Please don't assume that the person reviewing your application knows anything about your program. There is, again, just similar to last year, there's no login for this website platform. When you save your application, you'll be sent a link to the primary contact, and it will be that same link every single time. So every time you press save, it's going to send you a confirmation. It's going to be that same link every single time. You'll need to complete all the required fields that have that little asterisk. You won't be able to move forward if you haven't completed those questions. We'll go over this more in the demo, but just wanted to highlight that when you're in the web platform, the next button advances you to the next page, but doesn't save. So if you'd like to save, please press the save button, and that will save any information entered in the application, and you can resume it at a later date. Again, you'll be sent that link to get back into your form.
You hear me? What we thinking is that right here?
You can have multiple collaborators. So multiple people can edit the application if they have that link. However, the confirmation will always be sent to that primary contact unless you change it at the pop-up when it asks you to save, and we'll show that later. Pressing submit will submit your application. You can edit a submitted application up until the deadline, but the system will not allow you to submit after the deadline. That's deadline again is January 22nd at noon. So please be sure to have your application in before January 22nd at noon. So how to save and submit. So step 1, you will begin the application. Step 2 is you save your progress and resume through the link sent via email. You can submit at any time prior to the deadline, again, January 22nd at noon. And then you can go back in and edit the submitted application. So even after you submit it, you can still go back and edit it until the deadline using that link in your confirmation email. So again, no login. After you save, you'll be sent a link to the primary contact email you enter in here. So this is the pop-up that will come when you press save. It will be pre-populated with your primary contact if you've gotten that far into the application. If you would like to change it here when the pop-up comes up, then you can enter a different email there. Okay, Thea's going to take it from here.
Yes. So upon successful submission of your application, you will receive a confirmation that your application was received. It will have your site name and address and a PDF copy of your submission. Sorry. Please make sure to review it for accuracy. And if you need to, as Carrie said, you can go back into your submission and edit it until the deadline. And so here's just kind of an example of what that email looks like, and there's the link to go back and edit it if you need to. So now I'm just going to go over the items on the application, and then I'm going to open up the application so we can kind of all go through it together. So here are the items that you'll need to complete on the application, and the orange column is for the renewal and pre-qualified providers. So there will be an introduction with instructions. There will be legal entity information, the primary contact for the application, and again, that is who will receive all the emails. Facility site information, so you can add multiple sites in the same application. You will be asked star level licensing and accreditation information, enrollment, how many slots you'd like to request, and how many classrooms you plan on using. And then that is it for the renewal one. And then you will also be asked about disclosures, any business supports that you might need, and tax and regulatory compliance information. So this is the required uploads in the application. As you can see, there are no required uploads for the renewal pre-qualified providers. If awarded seats, you may be asked to submit additional documents as part of the contracting process. You will be asked to complete these in the application, and you will need other information ready to enter. So for renewal and pre-qualified providers, you will just need to complete the tax and regulatory status clearance statement, and you will be asked for your EIN or your social security number. And then you will also be asked about your Philadelphia Business Income Receipts Tax Account number if you have one. and a commercial activity license number also if you have one. If you have any questions about the application or you need technical help, you can submit your questions about the application in writing by December 12th to PHLpreK@phmc.org. And if you are having technical issues or you have technical questions or any trouble with the application, you can email PHLpreK@phmc.org. And once again, the application materials are available on the PHLpreK website at this link right here. Okay, so now I'm going to open up the application. So this is just a demo version of the application. All of the questions and everything are exactly the same, but I've just unrequired something so that we can go through it. So this is the beginning of the application. It is the introduction, and there are links here for eligibility and for also the performance services, performance expectations. Just as a note, if you click a link in here, it does take you to that link in the same tab. So just make sure that you're saving your application if you want to click on a link. So now here are instructions. And it tells you any documents or templates that you'll need. So the first question will ask you what sites you're applying for. You can check both if you're applying for both types, being if you have a current contract for FY24 or if you were pre-qualified. So then it will just ask you some legal entity information, your name, your address, your phone number, how your organization was structured, how it's legally organized. And I also wanted to note that some of the questions based on how you answer will populate other questions. So if you say that your organization is owned by a minority, if you click yes, then other questions populate. And the same thing with this question down here as well. So some of the questions will populate if you say yes. And then if you hit next, yes, so this is what will happen if you miss a required question. So it will not let you move on to the next page until you answer it. So now it will ask you for the primary contact for this application. You can have multiple people work on the same application. They'll just need to have the link that is sent to the primary contact. So this is the person who will get the confirmation emails and the links to edit. So at this point, if you wanted to save it, this pop-up would come up. And if you had put in a primary contact email address, that would pre-populate here. So yeah, you would just hit send, and then this person would be the one receiving all of the emails. So next it will ask for some site information. So this is where you would input the site name, the site address, the service hours, if you offer bilingual instruction, how many slots you're requesting and how many classrooms you'll use, enrollment, and then if you have private pay families, CCW funding. And then if you want to add another site, you would just hit add site, and then it would just say site 2, and then you can keep doing this for as many sites as you would like to add to the applications. You can keep clicking add site and it'll just add another one for you. Next are the disclosures, so you'll just answer these questions. What supports you'll need. And then tax and regulatory status and clearance statement. So you'll just fill out this up here and then specify if you use an EIN or a social security number. And then based on what you pick, you will be asked to input that information. The Philadelphia business income and receipts tax account number if you have one, and the commercial activity license number if you have one. And then you'll just have to sign it. We will run tax compliance checks on the EIN and social security number that you provide here. And if you become a PHLpreK provider, we run monthly tax compliance checks as well. And so then after that, this is the last page. It's just the acknowledgement and attestation. So you'll just read this and then you will sign it. Please make sure that when you get to this last page, you hit submit. Submitting is the only way for us to receive your application. And then once you hit submit, you will get this, which looks very similar to the email that you'll also receive. Attached is a PDF copy of your application. So yes, please make sure that you read that to make sure that everything is correct. And then you can also click this link here to edit it. And you'll also receive this same link in the email. You can edit it up until the deadline. And once that deadline passes, the system will no longer let you back into your application.
Okay, thanks, Theo. So that concludes our renewal session. Please, we'll stop for some questions, so please type them in now if you have any, but I'll go through the timeline again just in case. So be sure to mark your calendars for these dates. And check... Oh, getting a little feedback. So please make sure to mark your calendars for these dates and check the PHLpreK.org website for any updates. Remember to send any further questions to us by December 12th. We are not able to answer any questions after that. And the deadline to submit the application in the web platform is January 22nd at noon. So I said, this is the end of the renewal and pre-qualified session. You're welcome to leave the session now, and we appreciate you joining. We are going to go into the new provider location application if you would like to stay on and you plan to submit one of those applications. But we can take a look back to see if there are any questions. Someone did have a question. Can we still do the Spark orientation meeting for a location that was pre-approved last year? So you would need to be pre-qualified for the 2023-2024 program year. But yes, those orientation sessions will be happening. It's going to happen next week, Monday, the 11th, December 11th. And if you qualify as a pre-qualified organization, then you can RSVP for that event.
Carrie, also, if the pre-qualified location is not able to attend that orientation session, they will be recorded and posted, and folks can qualify by reviewing the recording.
And you'll have to attend or view the recording before the January 22nd at noon deadline. Any other questions? Okay. So thank you all for joining. If you all are going to hop off now, we really appreciate it. Send us any questions by December 12th. And so now we'll move on to the RFQ for new applications and go through that section. So again, very similar to the renewal application, you can find those application materials on the PHLpreK website. Again, it's on how to apply. If you click under the review applications, the English or Spanish version, on that last page, you're going to get to the new provider questions. So if you want to see them beforehand, before you submit in the platform and gather all the information that you'll need, including some of those uploads, you can see that beforehand by clicking on the application questions on that last page. Eligibility criteria for new providers. So this RFQ is intended to develop a pool of providers for slot awards to support program expansion or the redistribution of existing contracts. Only responses to this application will be eligible to contract with the intermediary and receive city funds for pre-K during fiscal year 2025. It is anticipated the request for applications for program expansion will incur in future years. However, funding for all expansions and renewals is contingent upon the funding that is available. For eligibility criteria, here on this slide, this is similar for renewal providers. You need to be licensed and in full compliance with DHS or PDE, and be quality community-based childcare programs that operate in Philadelphia, including centers, group, and family childcare, as well as school district and Head Start sites. You need to be in DHS compliance, similar to renewal providers. So providers with an active DHS sanction, negative sanction at the point of submission will be reviewed. However, all issues need to be resolved prior to contracting. Contracts will not be issued to providers with a negative sanction. And then a history of non-compliance will also be factored into the application review process. Providers not licensed through PDE or DHS, but licensed through an Octal alternative pathway to STARS may apply, but you must have a STARS designation. So if you want to move your currently funded location to a new location or wish to apply for a location not funded in FY 2020 or 2024, you will be required to complete a full competitive RFQ for new providers. All STAR levels are eligible to apply. If a STAR 1 or 2 program is awarded funds, they will be required to achieve a STAR 3 within the required time frame and will be required to submit a STAR 3 waiver and action plan upon notice of award. Now, for those provider locations that are making progress with your new locations toward moving up to a STAR 3 or 4, that's great. However, there isn't any expectation that the ELRC will give priority for movement to PHLpreK applicants. So please don't reach out to request expedited review or designation because you're applying for PHLpreK. The ELRC will be completing designation activities based on priorities established by Octal, and we will also not accept any letters from quality coaches on your behalf. STAR status and progress for all applicants will be verified with the ELRC. This is added for new providers only. So for unrated locations, the unrated locations of existing STAR 3 and 4 providers are eligible to apply. If awarded funds, they must demonstrate commitment to moving up and achieving STAR 3 within a required timeline. So new site locations may have a provisional DHS license due to being newly licensed facility. Those sites will be expected to reach full licensure and STAR 3 within a required time frame. New site locations may be awaiting a provisional licensure if the site underwent renovation or construction. Those sites will not receive a contract and cannot proceed with enrolling children if the provisional license is not obtained by July 1st, 2023. And those sites will also be expected to reach STAR 3 within a required time frame. I'm sorry, that date was July 1st, 2024. Okay, so now Thea will go through instructions on completing the new provider application and demo that application.
Yes, so here are the information for the new provider locations. Most of it is the same for renewal and new. For facility or site information, you can only add 1 site per application, and you will also need to put in recruitment and enrollment information. The new provider location will also have questions about staffing, fiscal practices, developmentally appropriate practices, kindergarten transition, It will have the same disclosures and business support questions as the renewal application. It will also ask for family demographics, data collection and responsibility, the tax and regulatory compliance information, and then it also has required uploads. These required uploads are Department of Education license, if applicable, accreditation certificate, if you have one, your fiscal documents, budgeting, audits, things of that sort. And then if awarded seats, providers may be asked to submit further documentation as part of the contracting process. There's also will be information needed, so it'll be a staff qualifications table, which will ask about current or prospective staff with roles and career pathway level in the PD registry. An enrollment and recruitment plan, which will include a list of recruitment activities, the person responsible for those activities and the target enrollments, and then also the tax and regulatory status clearance statement. So once again, that application is also on the website, and now I'm going to pull up that application. Okay, so here is the new provider application. Some of it is the same. So here, once again, is the introduction and instructions. And here's the list of all of the supporting documents and templates that are required. So here's the legal entity information. This is the same. Primary contact, once again, this is the person who will receive all the emails. Facility location information, so that's the information where the children will be served. And because you need to submit a new application for each site, you can only add one site in this application. So here's the STAR level and licensing information. So you'll say the current STAR level, if there's any national accreditation, and if you have a Department of Education license. If you say yes, you will be asked to upload that in the document upload section of the application. Here's site characteristics. If you offer, what kind of services you offer, if there's aftercare, access to the community, do you prepare food for the children on site, things like that. Enrollment, so this is the same as in the renewal one as well, and if there's been any changes in enrollment. There's a slot and classroom information, so how many slots you're requesting, how many classrooms do you anticipate using. And then here's the enrollment and recruitment plan section, so you will be asked to put in any enrollment activities, so the start date, the description, and then who's responsible for those activities. And you can click here to add activities. So you can add as many activities as you would like. And then here's staffing. So you'll be asked to fill out the staff qualifications table. You can just put in the information that you do have. If you need to hire for a position, you can just say no in the current employee question. So you would just put in the position, and then for current employee, if you need to hire for that position, you would just say no. And that's the same thing as the previous table. You can just click here to add as many staff members as you would like to add. And then it will ask you questions about your fiscal practices. So asking, what accounting software you use, do you have accounting policies? And then there's just more fiscal questions. Curriculum, you'll be asked what kind of curriculum you use, bilingual instruction, what developmental screening tools that you use, and what outcomes assessments do you use. and then kindergarten transition. So it'll ask you about your kindergarten transition activities. Disclosures, these are the same as in the renewal one. It will ask you what kind of business supports you need. Family demographics, so if you collect this information. Data collection and responsibility, so what data systems do you currently use and who supports that data entry? And then here is the contract signature information, so that will be the person who would sign the notice of awards and the contract if awarded seats. And you can also click here to add staff as well. And here is the tax information again. So you would just complete this and then click next. And for the income statement, you can either upload your income statement or you can complete the template. So if you choose to upload it, it will populate a place to upload it, or if you choose to complete the template will populate and it will just ask you for this information and it will calculate the totals at the bottom. And the same thing for the balance sheet. You can either upload your balance sheet or you can complete the template and it will populate here and you can fill this in. So the last section is the required documents. So your most recent audit or tax filing and your organizational budget, those are required for everybody. And then depending on what you chose in the previous questions, you may have other required documents. Like if you have a educational license, that would populate here to ask you to upload that as well. And just a reminder, if you save it, you'll get the link and then the email will pre-populate with whoever is your primary contact. And then they will get the link to that. And then next, and then here's the acknowledgement and attestations. So you will just read this and sign it. And then once again, please submit. That's the only way we get your application. If you save it, we do not get it. And then this is what you will see once you submit it. Here's the link again to edit it, and then the PDF of your actual application that you can review. Let me share this again.
Okay, so again, here's that timeline. Sure to mark your calendars and check the PHLpreK website for any updates. Send any questions to us by December 12th. And just remember that deadline, again, is January 22nd at noon. I think we can stop for any more questions that we might have. We had one question. I think she's asking, is the new provider application required if you had a site open before and closed it? So it is required for all applicants that did not have a site that was contracted in the 2023 to 2024 program year, and that it was not a pre-qualified location in that year as well. If we attend this meeting, do we still have to attend the December 7th pre-application session? No, all of these sessions are recommended. There's no requirement to attend any of the sessions. And for new providers as well, there's no requirement this year that you need to attend any of the sessions. But they are strongly encouraged. But if you did attend the new provider session, right, just now that you did, it's the same information that we'll be going over in the new provider sessions on Thursday and also on Friday. Any other questions? If you do think of any, please send them to the PHLpreK inbox by December 12th. And thank you all. We really appreciate you joining. And go ahead and get started on those applications. Thanks all.
Thank you.